This is the Play No Games podcast. We're the hardest working podcast in Portland, Oregon, man. Play
No
game. Play
No
games.
Oh yeah. I thought that's what we was doing.
Oh no, this is fine.
That's fair. That's fair.
This is the third guest
Podcast.
Slash show.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Welcome to the Play No Games podcast / show. I'm your host, Rob.
I'm Arthur.
I'm Koss.
And we're back here to put you all on a high vibration, whether that's in social situations, relationships, or building your self-worth, because all of that's important for you to go to the next level. You know what also puts us on the next level? All right, you probably can't hear that, but I was jingling some change. We need cash moolah. My boys came up with a pretty cool idea about, building a studio. And we going to need some Umar donation type money.
Umar Johnson type of donation.
Yes, we going to need that. And where you can donate this so we can build this awesome studio is $Hero Bob. I promise you, I will not claim this on my taxes. I will claim this on our business LLC
Taxes?
that I have. $Hero Bob. But also, if you enjoy the show, things like that, please follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Anchor,
Apple Podcasts.
So if you find us, you look for us, you want clips of just the show, we're at lookhere.fri on Instagram. The reason why it's different is because, hey, Look Here's coming out this summer with some stuff. I'm going to let y'all know right now, we partnered with a hotel, motel,
Holiday
No, we ain't at the Holiday Inn.
Oh.
This next event's about to really launch that page to the next level. So don't get it confused. There's the podcast clips, and if you click the link in the bio, it'll go straight to the show. With all that being said, before we get into our very first segment, I just gotta let y'all know we got a HBCU record setting.
Cool.
Bronx, Brooklyn, traveling,
What?
living,
What?
shoe, coffee, drinking,
What?
guests in the building.
What?
Ooh. He's not dead, he's alive.
Uh-oh.
We got Amir on the Play No Games podcast / show. How you doing today?
Feeling good. Appreciate y'all having me here. Looking to have some fun.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And our very first fun segment, my boy AJ's gonna tell you about it.
Absolutely. So the first segment is called Play No Games.
Sorry.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And so it's it could be positive, negative, something you did today. It don't matter. It's kind of open-ended. But you say you play no games about this, whatever it is. So it's on you first.
Oh man, I play no games about my well-being. I feel like going into this year, I really have been, just from a mental, emotional, and physical standpoint, like really prioritizing that, making sure I'm getting proper rest in, I'm eating right. So yeah, that's been one thing. I just been on a mission. I'm up 5 a.m. like 4 days out of the work week, just trying to get to it. So that's definitely been huge for me. That's something I don't play about.
Respect.
Man, I feel that.
No, I do. I respect that as well. Like, I've been going through my own awakening too, as well. As 30-year-old man, I'll expose myself.
Whoa. The Whopper right there.
The joke is up.
I'm
It's
sorry.
wide left. It's no good, folks. It's no
I'm
good.
sorry, that reaction, that was like a Kevin Hart reaction.
Should have
to Don
hit the
Cheadle.
damn.
Just
stared at him like,
I was like, Cos, you're actually better than this. Like, you're actually way more.
Sorry.
It's
that was
like,
a genuine reaction.
I'll just say this: when people ask about the show, like, out of all of us, they think this motherfucker's the funniest, and I get upset about this all the time. And I was like, "Come
I'm
on!"
also the one that gets the most fire thrown back at me. So
Very true.
When you guys are ready for that, let me know, and then maybe you'll be considered the funniest.
Oh, all right. What are you playing no games about today, Cos?
Ooh. Ringworm.
Ugh.
Playing
What?
no games about ringworm. Yeah.
Ugh.
Why are you here today? You have ringworm?
I don't have ringworm, no. And if I did have ringworm, you can function with a human with ringworm. It's not that bad. You just can't like rub other people's
Oh, it
skin.
doesn't burn?
No, I do jujitsu. We had to talk about it yesterday during class. Had to sanitize all the mats and whatnot. So that was just top of mind.
That's gross.
So
It is really gross. So if you wrestle, do jujitsu, judo, anything like that, grappling activity, please take a shower before, take a shower after.
So you have
If you got a spider bite, don't participate. Take a break.
So you have a ringworm.
I don't have ringworm, no.
Wait, but why? You said a spider bite. What?
It looks like a spider bite.
okay.
People are like, oh no, it's just a spider bite, or oh no, it's like an insect bite or something. It literally looks like one, but then like it'll get scabby and pussy, and then like it's super contagious.
Oh,
So,
for
yeah.
2.
Try not to touch people with spider bites is my advice right there.
You're better than this.
What?
Oh, nothing.
Okay, go ahead. What are you playing no games about, huh?
I thought you would ask. Actually, I was thinking about you.
You think about me?
Shit,
Of course.
Here we go.
Damn.
Here we go.
I thought this would be a great thing. I want to extend what I'm playing no games about to everyone. And I will want to know. So, my one I'm playing no games about is investments. So, if you had 10K and you couldn't pocket it, I'll give mine, and you had to invest in either Bitcoin, NFT, or sports betting, I want to know which one you would choose. And I thought about this. I'm not going to lie. I'm sports betting like a motherfucker. Like, I don't trust NFTs and Bitcoin so much. Because I was thinking about it. Because I was thinking about that one dude who's like, yeah, I did the whole Bitcoin and then Doge went to the moon, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, man, I want to be like that guy. And then I've heard a lot of like shit stories. And I was like, nah. I was like, KD, go fucking, well, he did squander my money today. I was like, go fuck off my money. I will do sports betting. I'm sorry. But I'm curious. If y'all had 10K.
That's a good one.
10K, you can only invest in sports betting, NFTs,
Damn.
or Bitcoin. What would you do?
I feel like sports betting is more instant than the rest of them. You kind of get your instant gratification from that, or instant loss. Like NFTs is like kind of long term setting, and it's kind of more promotional. Just like I feel like Bitcoin is, but I mean the beauty of Bitcoin is like there's places like Sweden and other areas of Europe that only use Bitcoin. So like putting even about a portion of that money into Bitcoin allows you to go to those places and kind of live that life in those places. So, it depends on what you want. For me, if I'm trying to travel, I'll definitely use Bitcoins. I think it would go a lot further than sports betting.
Okay, that's interesting. So you're thinking of Bitcoin more as like I can live off of it.
Yeah,
not necessarily
absolutely.
I can multiply it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fair. You want my answer?
Of course.
I'll say right now, if we're talking today's
now.
date, 4/20/2022. Happy 4/20, everyone. I don't know if anyone here smokes or not. I don't. But no problem if you do. But
You want me to tell your sister?
okay, whatever.
I'm coming for you.
Right now, as of today, I'm gonna do NFTs actually. As much as I don't like NFTs, and I see NFTs as like a future in terms of as like a certification process, so you don't buy fakes, or like it comes with like a receipt. You get an NFT with your purchase. I see it as that. Right now, NFTs are super hot. You buy it, you flip them, super easy. I look at NFT like right now. UFC did like an NFT thing today that blew up really hot. I look at that. Personally, me though, my fourth option would be, which I would go over all three, gold. I'd just buy $10,000 worth of gold and put that in a safe.
Because it doesn't depreciate.
It's never gonna lose money.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually going to say that option if that was an option.
Hey, there you go. That's my guy.
Oh, you only put you gave four options, because I thought we had to stay in that type of lane. So I just want to respect the rules of the game. So
I'm glad someone did, but gold as well.
I'll gold as well. I'll probably get half in gold, but definitely, the risk taker that I am, would definitely go for the sports betting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to Pete Rose. Just playing.
All right.
Shout out to Calvin Ridley.
Sheesh.
Jeez, yeah.
Man, that's the epitome of how you gonna get fired on your day off. I was like, damn, you gotta be. He couldn't even ask his friend and be like, hey, let's go put this down on the team.
Seriously, dude, what are you doing?
I don't know how many times, and I'm blurring Beep's name that I've like. They're like, oh, put 1K out on this, and I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. I was like, so easy, but you're there. But yeah, anywho.
What are you doing? You're doing? Oh, you said sports betting. Okay.
I just don't see, and I'm glad you both, all three guys brought up those perspectives. Where like, if gold was an original option, maybe gold. But like, I guess for me, I just don't see like NFTs and Bitcoin really. Like, there's no like, for me, like NFT is like, yo, like, you're putting the value on something. Like UFC, that's a big community, so a lot of people are gonna value that thing. Where it's kind of like, I value this, and someone's like, I bought it for $10K, and then someone was like, nah, this is $5. So it's like, it's my value, and then this Bitcoin is like,
I think
Bitcoin's a long-term investment though.
But I also feel like Bitcoin's not big here because the government can't control it, and I think that's where it has its like
the gray
backfire. Like there's like pieces and aspects of it that want it to be here, and I know dudes who've lived off Bitcoin for 10 plus years and they haven't had a job, they haven't worked, and now he's a CPA doing nothing but Bitcoin. So like it's crazy, like the aspects of what you can really use it for if you know what you're doing. So like, but
you can donate to the show.
Just say you need them funds.
Yeah, we talked about new plays. It's to the moon with him, right?
So
he's not gonna talk about these.
To be fair, Bitcoin's not in a great spot right now, so he may be.
No, he's the mining now. He's
mining now.
Yeah, he's mining. He built his own like computer to mine and all that. So he's mining for Bitcoin now. So he's kind of stepped up a lot of it.
I ain't gonna count his pockets, but
yeah, I'm not either.
Future investor. But what you playing against, Mal?
I want to play games about a dog, man. So like I have a dog. I love my dog to death, but it's pouring down raining outside, and my dog is like itching to get outside, and so he's causing havoc. And first thing he does when he goes outside is hides underneath a covered area outside. And I'm like, dude, like you wanted to go outside, and now I'm standing in the rain, and you're hiding underneath the covered area to get out the rain, but you want to go outside. And so it's kind of like frustrating at first, but I'm like, oh, well, whatever. And then he goes and rolls in the mud, and I have to get him back in the car. So like I love my dog to death. That motherfucker stink now. Smell like wet dog. And like now you get the whole negative side of it. But, wouldn't change for the world. So dog.
I can't wait to get my very first dog. Future dog, Doberman. Can't wait.
That's a hell of a beginner dog.
Yeah, that's a tough dog.
No, it's not. It's a very all around balanced dog. I've done my research.
Really? I've heard you gotta train those dogs really well.
Yeah, I'm gonna train it.
They're very aggressive.
So there's Hey, we're not going to get. I have a pit bull.
Fair enough.
That's all I'm gonna say. I've had a few.
Pit bulls are easy dogs.
Oh, super smart. But like Dobermans, I mean, my cousin had Dobermans growing up. Both of which he named Psycho. They were actually oversized Dobermans. So
not going for that size.
Yeah, I think Psycho had to be like, that joke was like a horse, man. He was maybe $140. Jesus. Chilling. Yeah, there's a spot, and I think it's still in PA called Kimbertall Kennel. So like, our family, we're from Philly, and it's been around since my dad was a buck. Like since he was a youngin', it was like a thing you would go. They actually breed Dobermans and Rottweilers as well as wolves.
Oh shit!
Very cool. Very cool.
Okay.
It's the thing. I didn't believe myself, and then I looked this up, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." just some food for thought.
I would just say, I think for me, just like a Doberman is like a great all around dog where I really don't have to worry about the fur, and like I kind of also want like a dog I can like grow and build with, where like it can be a great family dog, it can be a security dog, it can be a play dog. It's just a blank slate. Well, I feel like its personality will be easier to mold with mine.
Oh, for sure. That's like another, like, I mean, I got my pit right now, but if I was to get situated, have another dog, both of them at the same time, it would be a Doberman. So, like,
Would you mutilate its ears?
The funny thing about it is I was going back and forth with a woman. We were kind of talking about it, and like she actually convinced me. I actually don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna have his like flop ears. Cause I actually like looked at like a Doberman with it. And I was like, this is actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is fine. Where I'm like, but like I'm still like trying to figure out if like female or like male, like dog, which is I'm still like at.
I have a friend who has a female Doberman, and he did the ears to her. Looks cool.
what color? What color would you get? That's another question. You know, got your chocolates, you got your traditional
Chocolate.
black and gray. Okay, you want the red Dobie? Red Dobies are nice.
So that's fun. But you know, I get my next house.
That's an interesting breed, man. Definitely interesting breed. Interesting.
What kind of breed of dog is?
So mine's a mix. It's a boxer shepherd mix. And so like he only supposed to get like 70 pounds, but he's like 70, 75 pounds. But he's real bright, real smart. He already plays fetch. He's 5 months. He already plays fetch and all that. So like, yeah, he's right where he needs to be. Right where he needs to be. He cool, man. He get on my nerves sometimes, but he cool.
I bet.
Yeah. So
He was good at my house.
yeah, he fell asleep at your house.
Yeah. See, not saying I'm a Pokemon trainer, but I got my badges. But anywho, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you were there too, but I was like, we had a respect. He was like, I
It
respect
was a
you.
long day for him that day.
It was a long day.
Fair enough. I had the context clues we can't talk about on the show. But I think this is a perfect segue to actually like bring up, because you just mentioned, you're a PA Philly kid, like family there. I was wondering, could you like literally like anyone who's from like any like major cities and like they end up in Portland, we always ask, how'd you come here? There's no culture here. And I just want to ask, just growing up, because, how was it like? What was it like growing up East Coast?
I mean, just like even like perspective with Philly, like my father's side has over 100 years in Philly. My mother's from Panama. But yeah, I mean, we ended up moving to Jersey when I was younger, but like 20 minutes across the bridge. So growing up, it was a lot of back and forth, because it's like, I felt like, especially my suburb, which was pretty interesting, is that most of us were like transplants in a sense. Like Sicklerville, New Jersey, literally, I don't really know too many people, like, well, at least when I was growing up, that was like born and raised there. It was like, oh, my parents, like, we just moved here from Philly. We just moved here from Camden, New Jersey. We just moved here from New York, So, I mean, with that being said, too, it was really diverse. Like, we were the majority in a suburb, which was really dope. But yeah, just like growing up back and forth, like my grandmothers were still in Philly, and most of my family too. So a lot of just floating back and forth in the scene and out of it. I think I feel like I had a really interesting upbringing because of that. Because like when I was in high school or even middle school, like I would go and hoop in like all the hood leagues in Philly, like with my cousins. Like we would go across the bridge. Like I can tell you how much like it costs to cross from Jersey back to PA. Like on the Philly side, like I watched it go up. Now it's $5. I remember it was like $2. I've seen the train go up as well. Like in terms of like that's how much we was on it. So yeah, you be playing in all these hood leagues from North Philly, Southwest Philly, West Philly, and then I end up coming back across the bridge to Jersey and just chilling. And then as I started getting in kind of like the creative scene, I had like big homies that would just like, look out for me when I was around there. Really like the underground scene in Philly was dope. So going to like shows, local shows, meeting local like artists, whether that's music or actual like fine artists and whatnot. It was just dope to be a part of. And a lot of people that's kind of in that southern New Jersey scene was going back to Philly and also even New York as well.
That's so interesting, actually, because I have a coworker who's just like that. He's
Yeah.
from Jersey, but spent so much time in Philly, like diehard Eagles fan, but he'll always say he's from New Jersey.
Yeah.
That doesn't get talked about enough. I didn't realize like Jersey and Philly were so connected like that.
Yeah, it's like it's close. Like I wouldn't even say like it's definitely like two different places. Like even like, you know, like a major city in South Jersey would be like Camden. Camden sits right across from Philly. Two different places essentially. And also like, you know, Philly is very prideful about where they're from. Jersey is very like Jersey as a state has a chip on its shoulder. Philly is like I will say Philly is like a state. The way people just rep, like it's like, nah, I'm not from like I'm from Philly.
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference, you know. And then when you get to Jersey, a lot of people, oh, I'm from Jersey. But Jersey is interesting because you have South Jersey, which which gravitates even slang and things like that connected to Philly. And then when you go up to like North Jersey, they have their own thing as well, but it's closer to New York, so the accent kind of changes a bit.
Yeah.
And this state is only, but you can drive up and down this thing in like 2.5 hours, if that.
And the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, Jersey Shore. Like I wouldn't even say. I think it's like 1.5 hours to New York, to be honest. Yeah.
And even in that complex though, like, right, you got all these people packed into like 2 hours of a state. Like, do you ever feel like you had to claim one, like Jersey or Philly?
In a sense, like I feel like it's interesting because even out here, like I know some people that like somebody I grew up with is out here from Jersey, but then a lot of people that know me like from the scene back in Philly is that's like, oh, he's with us, he's from Philly. And it's like so weird back and forth. And it was like that even in high school. Like, I mean, I was in Philly so much. Like I'm playing in all these different leagues. I'm out here like clicking off like with different people, you know, just vibing. So it was like, it's just very interesting. And it's not like I feel like a Portland, Vancouver type of situation.
Oh, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
And it's like, but it's just so much of us were just out there and like literally integrated into kind of the creative scene as a whole. Like you got some shakers, yeah. You have like the shakers and movers in Philly for sure. Like straight up, like got the blueprint. And then you also have some very talented people out of South Jersey who has contributed to that scene as well.
Interesting. I have two rapid fire questions that are hilarious. Yeah. One's off topic, but one's on topic. I'll go with the off topic, on topic one. In the whole Drake versus Meek Mill beef, who did you claim? Did Philly really claim Meek during that time?
I would say yeah, to an extent. Because Drake, I feel like Drake had the game in the chokehold. Like he still definitely does. But I mean, like most of us grew up listening to, at least for me, a lot of people, we grew up on listening to Meek. Like I didn't really listen to mainstream music like that. Like I was listening to a lot of battle rap, things like that.
Big out there.
Yeah, which is
so
huge.
Big out there.
You know,
the underground rap scene is huge.
Yeah, you watch Meek like battling like other Philadelphia rappers. Like you downloading things off of LimeWire and whatnot. Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Yeah.
Don't even exist.
Frostwire.
You know,
what's he talking about? Don't click that one.
You know, and it was kind of cool to like see folks like that like really make it. So from just a geographical standpoint, I was riding for Meek at least, you know.
All right. So you know the whole dreams and nightmare at the club. You know when people sing it, they don't understand it. They don't get it.
Oh man, everybody know it, but best believe it bring people together. People pumping their chest out, singing the hell out of that joint.
So my second question to about on this topic, that's more on topic, is my brother. He actually went to Temple University.
Oh, he's right in the heart of the North.
Yeah, and I have to ask you this question. He's my little big brother, and like I'm taller than him and bigger than him. He is. That's actually a fact. If he gets mad at it, it's factual. So
you gonna pull up on you though? You gonna be like,
he always does.
Oh, all right.
But my question is, him and my older cousin, they went to like he was visiting him, right? And I kind of want to ask about the level of like, you were talking about like hooping, because they tell this story so many times. Like they were at Temple, because here, like you could talk shit at Alberta, you know, shit like this, and like Peninsula Park, and they were hooping at one of the places, like on the streets, right? And my cousin who talks, they know him, he's a talker, and like he started talking, and this one dude just flashed a gun. And said, and it's like, look here. He's like, was it a foul? He's like, nah, it's not a foul. And they kept playing. I just would have asked, in Philly, when it comes to hooping, is it to that level? Is it that serious?
I mean, there are things that go on at these courts.
Allegedly.
I mean, even from just like, you know, like neighborhood games, like leagues and stuff like that. You know, I mean, you talk in a certain way, you know. Anybody can say anything. Results may vary. Shout out to my big homie Terrence. That's his line. But that's real talk. Like, I mean, it's like that. You talking wild. I mean, because a lot of times people take certain things personally. You know, I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
But it get a little too extreme for some cases. That's why I kind of stay out the way. Even like, shoot, look at LA Fitness pickup games. Folks be about to go to the whip and like they got the yapper on them.
No, it's true. I just like don't. It happens in Portland. The only reason I bring that up is because like when I hear people talk about like Costa's well traveled, AJ's well traveled, like, so they get it. Like a lot of Portland people here have never like left. Always like, I'll go to like Alberta or the Numbers or whatever, and like that's the hood. Nah, I've seen real. Actually in Philly when we visited my brother and things like that, like people living out of like a slanted house with the support beam at a slant, like regular, like Cheerios. That's cool. I'm just like, nigga, the house is on a slant. I mean, black people, the house is on a slant.
Yo, I'm telling you, just like in general, like folks, you know, even when you hooping, like I can give instances like hooping, you playing ball, and this is me like pulling up on my cousin and my uncle's coaching and whatnot, and everybody's like, oh, Jersey's here. I'm like, dang. I'm like, shoot, my family been in Philly longer than some of y'all people been here or whatever. But nah, like it's really like the trash talk that be going on in the game. But also, you might want to like peer into the crowd and make sure, you know, somebody big homie not there. Like, you know, you saying some stuff, you know, that can get you jammed up, but you know, that's something that's just playing. That's like playing in some of these like intense environments. Like you go to New York, you go to these courts like Dykeman, and you know, and witness like these games. I mean, you right smack dab in the element, right? You know, and also at the same time, hey, nobody gonna take any type of disrespect. So you know, I don't really talk that much anyway playing ball. Like I really just, you know, run up and down the court and shake hands and stuff like that.
Respect.
Allegedly.
I like that.
I like this guy.
Do you feel like hooping? So like I always like I work with kids and I always tell students about opportunity when it comes to sports in general and just like the impact of what sports can do. How do you feel like it impacted you growing up, like physically, mentally, emotionally, like personality-wise?
I think just sports in general. Not that I think. I got to get away from I think. I've been like want to be very, how do you say, just like straightforward with my words. That's been really big for me. To have that type of intention, speak with intention, instead of saying like I think, like I know, or being confident in what I'm going to say.
It's passive.
So yeah, that's been really like important to me.
That's a clip.
But I would say for me, sports was just like, I mean, it was like an outlet. Like my dad was a hooper. My family, like, you know, family that was around me, everybody like, you know, hooped and whatnot. Like my dad is an only child, but grew up with like, just imagine all my uncles are his homies. Like they actually like my like emergency contacts in school. We're not like blood related, but like literally grown up with my pop. And they always, you know, used to hoop around. They got hoop stories like you wouldn't believe. Like from folks like that you've seen, like Pooh Richardson, went pro, you know, played for the Lakers, like folks like that they used to bring around. But for me, I think, interesting enough, I played football, basketball. I ran track 1 year when I was like in second grade, and I was just like, that's it. That was cool or whatever. Football was really like my thing, and I actually ended up getting this before all the CTE stuff happened. I had a concussion that happened in basketball, right? My dad was like, he still talks about it to this day, like, man, I was so forward thinking, and I knew how things were. But that's how it kind of was. I got low bridge at this basketball camp, fell back, hit my head. And then I went and played, like, this is like 8th grade. So people are like getting scouted to go to like high schools and things like that. And I ended up like in preseason, the last person I hit, ironically enough, ended up in the NFL. My homies. Wow. Right,
Okay.
He wasn't that big back then. Then he got big.
Okay.
But ended up having another concussion. Went to go play in the fall league for basketball. Got clipped and ended up my head hit somebody's knee. I had 3 concussions in like 4 months.
Damn.
So it was like no more football. When you go to like high school, you just want to like play ball. And I was like, all right, cool. So I was hooping. Went to a Catholic school in Jersey, came to Catholic. And my second year, well, Panamanian won the long jump, right, in 2008, Irvin Saladino. So I'm watching the Olympics. I'm like, I think I got some springs on me. I might be able to get out there. And so I decided to run track. And I'm gonna tell you this: any person, like high school coaches, gonna sell anybody something, especially football coaches. No shade, but y'all be selling kids' dreams.
Well, yeah. Dude, you be selling kids' dreams?
Oh yeah.
Allegedly.
You cannot confirm nor deny.
Nope. Sure can't.
Oh man, coach
I
be
don't sell
like,
nothing.
man, I can see you going to Texas A&M University. And I'm like, have y'all seen them boys in like Texas and in California and in Florida, like Louisiana? I'm naming like schools down south. It's like, okay, like people don't realize how hard it is to get to that level. You know what I mean? And I ended up like running track, and my coach talk about selling dreams, which was kind of like, I mean, in hindsight, I didn't really know much, so I just went with it. I ended up triple jumping, and after I did it, he was like, yo, you had like 7 more feet on there, you can be a state champion. I'm like, word? I can go to school for jumping in sand? It's great. Yeah. Sign me up. But 7 feet when you a kid and you don't really know much, you're like, oh, that ain't nothing. Like you can mark that out with your feet.
Yeah.
Man, was I wrong? I mean, I eventually, like, it was cool. Like, I was still hooping, but really track was my focus. Ended up just, going to college for it, and that journey was even crazy. But yeah, so it's definitely like rooted in me. I would say.
Before we get to like HBCU, because I definitely want to talk to you about that, and Deadstock and things like that. I know Ross or AJ will ask you about that, but I just gotta say this one thing. I know we're gonna be talking about some of your accolades, and I just want to remind you that you're a civilian now. And as a civilian, and because I have some college athlete friends, and Jordan and Josh, those guys, and I'm not gonna say that now we're on the same level. I think I could beat you in a race.
This dude think he can beat everybody in a race.
I
actually
on the podcast. Me in a race.
Wow. I'll bet my house on that.
Okay.
Just like I challenged Jordan, sprite the hell out of him. Obviously, I'm not ignorant, but I'm smart. I want to, on the show, just say, on the record, I think I can beat you in a race because you're retired and I'm hungry. There's a difference. And I want to see, before we go,
He was waking up at 5 a.m. to work out.
Dead stop. I wake up at 5
Look at the
a.m.
length of his legs.
Look at my legs.
I'm gonna tell you this, I ain't really saying much because I was a triple jumper. I was a designated triple jumper.
Exactly. He be jumping like I tell Josh. Josh don't want this smoke.
But listen, you put money on the line.
No.
Whoa, this is the love of the game.
Trust me, you put some money on it.
I'll count that start in my head.
You seen that episode of Fresh Prince with Jeffrey hopping that cab to get to the finish line? You gonna see me get it.
Hey, you want to do 30? We can do 30 meters.
I'll take that 10 grand
Hey.
you offered earlier and I'll parlay.
30 meters is short.
Huh?
It's short.
I know. I almost beat Jordan at the same trick.
See, here's the thing. Here's what, and this is something that I tell folks, like 30, 40 meters, right? So for me, it sounds crazy because it's a short race. I got long legs and whatnot. Because I'm not as fast, I reach peak speed quicker. Folks are still, if you watch like sprinters, they're coming out of their dry. They're pumping out of their dry phase. I might be already upright. For real. They still waiting to get to their peak speed.
Jumpers and sprinters it's two different things. It's two different
I
things.
wanted to know.
Some sprinters are great jumpers. Whew, Lord.
I want you to know no one's broken it down like that, and I have to recalibrate some things. But I'm a man of my word. I challenge you. One of these days, I'm gonna race you. I have like 3 conditions. You already have
3 conditions.
I do have 3 conditions.
Wait.
Come on.
Okay.
Okay, Jordan and him have records and accolades that I haven't. I'm just hungry. I wake up every day and work out too, and I be running. Treadmill hits, I be doing it. That's what I want to say, Just want to throw that out there. And just having us segue into literally, and that challenge was a real challenge. But segue is you hold Delaware States, there we go. Triple jump. Wow. I'm sorry.
Triple jump
Yeah.
record?
Thank you. I don't know why.
What'd you jump?
That was like 49 high, I think. That wasn't my PR like afterwards, but like, yeah, it was held for like, I think like 25 or 30 years or something like that.
It's crazy. That's what my friend was jumping.
Yeah, it was crazy is it was actually on my off leg. So I can jump probably about I can jump 50 feet on both, like I can go left, right, and right, left. So when I got injured before, and I had to just like, when you come down on your first phase, you're actually coming down on 10 times your body weight. So a lot of triple jumpers actually have dense like exoskeleton in terms of their like shins and things like that.
Conditioned.
Yeah, just because
the
it's
pounding.
like you do jujitsu, right? So you know about like even people that do like Muay Thai.
Muay Thai,
and
they
kicks,
condition their shins, they
kicking
roll
their
their
shins a
shins.
certain way. Human body is very interesting.
Yeah.
My undergrad's in sports science.
Oh, okay.
It's a thing.
Hey, I got some science too. It's called Rob Science. I'll find a way to win.
But yeah,
They
nah.
don't find a way to win.
I'll find a way to win.
You know what's crazy about that though? I ended up breaking the record, and I actually transferred the next like year. Yeah, like I actually had like a stained glass on like the student center at Delaware
Talk your
State.
shit. Talk your shit.
It was cool. It was cool. It was not like nothing major. But I remember coming back and like having like my next school like all the gear on and taking a picture in front of it.
Damn.
It was pretty funny. And then like when people be like, "Yo, who is this person?" My roommate was like one of my best friends. Shout out to Brian. He was like, "Man, this joker left. He ain't here no more." It was sad. It was a sad departure. Shout out to HBCUs. I love like the only reason I transferred because of sports.
Oh wow.
Now it's cool to invest in HBCUs,
Yeah, the number one
Companies.
basketball crew went to an HBCU, right?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
high school basketball, yeah.
Which is amazing. I mean, to be honest, like there's so much talent that goes in HBCUs, but when you think about even like facilities and money that's going in on teams and things like that, like when you have actual investments and stuff, like where like folks can develop, even like you have people that come into certain programs that end up being, they might have been walk-ons that end up being All-Americans on a Division I level.
And like the most interesting, I guess for me, and I'm just like reflecting, just hearing all this, where it's kind of like I had an opportunity to go to the HBCU. It was Morehouse, and it was going to be a 145 for tennis, and then a 145 for education. And then when I got there, the tennis coach was going to work me out, and then we're going to bump it to a half ride, and then the other fourth was going to be for academics. But just like true black people, he didn't get back to me, and I was like, UVO's like diversity. Full ride? Sign me up. And that's how I ended up in Eugene, folks.
Man.
My life would have been probably different if I went to Atlanta. But
I was supposed to go to Grambling. I was supposed to Grambling State. That's where I was supposed to go. My cousin backed out, and so I didn't know nobody, and so I said I ain't going. My cousin backed out, and so I was like, but I should have been at Grambling. running track at Gremlin. I ran track in college as well. So yeah.
Oh, dope. Oh man,
That's crazy.
him.
I hope you beat him.
Yeah.
you gonna be training? Oh,
Oh, I'm
man.
not. Oh, I'm training. It's 2 times as worth of training. But I think the cool thing that I just want to like stay on the HBCU route too as well was what Koss brought up and what you guys brought up is like for me here as being like an Oregon kid, even though my mom made sure me and my siblings traveled and things like that. I went to Jefferson High School. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with that. Like, you know, the black school where like I got enough of being around of.
Shout out to Jeff.
Shout out to Jeff. You know, I was y'all valedictorian. Give me more respect.
That just gets
What's some respect on his name?
Let's
go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh,
What GPA?
I'm like, he can't believe it. He said, really?
Yeah, I
What
quoted.
GPA you have to get a valedictorian?
Huh?
What GPA did you have to hit?
I think I got 4.01.
That's all
I took some college classes too, but you know,
You
yeah.
delivered the speech?
Of course, yeah.
Man, that's
I
major.
couldn't do no tie. I had to
Atta boy.
I actually got to find the video. It's on like a DVD. I quoted Obama and I was like,
Is
yeah.
that when you look more like Corey in the house?
You was waiting to get that one off.
Koss, you're like 1 for 4. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Nah, I agree, but I gave you that material. Recycling is not welcome here.
Shots
And we
fired.
take it back.
Did you just expose his comedic genius
Yes.
to your comedic genius?
man.
Of course. So
Selfish.
very. So when it comes to like HBCUs, like for me, I was just saying like I got enough being around my people and I'd be like, all right, this is like the example. So like my mindset was like, all right, let me go for the best deal and things like that. I would guess, and this is not just to you, so you don't feel like we're obviously, you know, bring your knowledge, but like for everyone, where it's kind of like, I know like Oregon doesn't have that, right?
Yeah.
And like, I guess from like people of color, kids of color, please don't, the PC term, whatever, people, I'm just trying to catch, sorry, that actually, I'm going on a tangent because, yeah, all that bullshit. Someone like DM it, don't say that, remember? And I'm like, oh, kill me. But anywho, I get it. But I guess just wanted to ask all of you guys, what do you think would be the benefits of like black and brown children really going to like HBCUs? What do you guys see with that? Because I see nutrients, but like what, like you've been there, black college tours down there, like what are the aspects that people don't understand that HBCU brings? Like Koss, you're talking about like the number 1 athlete, you know, going for like NBA.
I said basketball. I think it's actually football.
Football?
He went to Deion Sanders.
Yeah, but like,
Mississippi State,
like
or not Mississippi State, Jackson State.
like that's important. Where like it's not like segregation. I feel like when people say HBCUs, it's like oh, you know, white versus black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I heard 2 different perspectives on it. Like one is like more culturally aware, like of what you're in and the surroundings that you get, right? You're around more people that look like you, you're around teachers and stuff that look like you. You feel more comfortable in a space like that. But then I heard it from the flip side of that too. Being in a setting like that, finding help is easy, but it was like finding help is easy, but it was like it's like finding help was easy, but like being able to be like the one of only becomes a lot, it's like not there anymore, right? So like when you go to a PWI or predominantly white institution, you're one of 200, right? And so being able to get the help and the scholarships and these other opportunities come real easy because you're one of, right? Going to a predominantly black institution where there's everyone looks like you, those scholarships now you really have to fight for, you know what I'm saying? And so now you have to really make your way on earning that scholarship instead of just being able to get it. So I've kind of heard both perspectives on it. Preferably growing up in Oregon, I would have preferred I went to a school of color just to get more culturally aware of like my own self. Because going to the PWIs and going to predominantly like white schools, like you lose out on a lot of history. Like a lot of history is not taught and told and like learned. So then when it comes time to like actually knowing some stuff, you feel like you behind. Like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't even know this person did that. Oh, I didn't even know this, because it's not taught in those schools. You don't. Like I had lived in Texas for high school for a year. I lived in Houston. I learned more about black history.
Houston.
Me too. I learned more about black history in the 1 year I was there than I did in my whole time being in Oregon. So it was like
Down there, they celebrate Juneteenth. They've been celebrating
Yeah.
Juneteenth in Texas, for real.
Really?
yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like for me, like understanding culturally, like I think it's a big cultural piece. So yeah.
I would definitely say, we have this thing, HBCU, the education is richer, which it is, in a sense. You have, as you mentioned, you have like teachers, your contemporaries, of course, classmates, say, are they look like you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're building things, but also at the same time, I feel like there's this stigma, and what kind of like frustrated me, especially first going to Delaware State, was people that didn't go to HBCU that were, some people, black folks, I went to high school like that. I'm not sure if I could go to school with all these black people. Like, and it's crazy, like, for somebody to say that looks like you, right? It's like, what type of self-hating, like, bullshit you on?
Uncle Ruckus.
And people don't realize we are diverse within ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was at Delaware State, I was exposed to, like, people from D.C., people who were from all around. Like, you can name Atlanta, Florida. You got people from New York. Like, you in there, like, even our parties, you would go to, like, a gym party. DJs literally going from state, city, and just, like, covering you. So you listen to different sounds. Like, my first time really, like, getting put on a go-go, like, I love, D.C. is one of my favorite cities. You know what I'm saying? Just because, the black culture that's there, but also getting put on to their own slang lingo and things like that, where I wasn't accustomed. I was like, yo, who is Mo? People was like, people in DC, they be like, kill Mo. It's these different words, or you sicing. And then, like, people feel like, oh, you drawing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have these different drawing. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's these different words that we have. And that's just like that, like, as general, like, what we may call, like, a young boy. You go to the South, somebody's like, oh, he a jit. But, like, that's really how dope black culture is as a whole. We are so diverse within ourselves and within our regions. Even when we get together, we get put on different music, different slang and stuff like that. And it's just like, wow. So going to a HBCU, you're going to be around a lot of folks that look like you, right? But even down to the way we talk, the way we dress, man, you know what I'm saying? You have folks like, hey, somebody was in New York by the way they dress. You knew why somebody was from DC by the way they dress. They got phones, ski masks, Helly Hansen, like stuff like that. This back in like 2000. I was there, 2011? You know what I'm saying? Like, so you have these different styles and things like that that you're exposed to. And that's what's so beautiful about it, man. Like, I love Delaware State. Delaware State holds a special place in my heart. The only reason I transferred was because of my athletic situation. I would have stayed there. Like, really, like, I tell people, looking dead in the camera, what's up there? Go to HBCU. Enjoy yourself. Trust me. And this just goes for people in general. Like, everyone should experience that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't want to leave our guy over there on the island.
Hey, guys, I'm white.
Would you, or when it comes to, did you see, people of, Caucasus?
Caucasians? White people?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I seen white people. There's like, like just because you at a HBCU, there's, folks that teammates. You got, even study hall. Like, I was in study hall. Bro, I was at Delaware State. We had an equestrian team.
Hell yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
awesome.
like there's not to say like race and associate like with sports and things like that. But for me as an athlete, we be in study hall and it's like, oh snap, like there are white people that go to the school. Even like some may not live on the campus or things like that, but they're definitely in your classrooms and whatnot. And it's like really dope.
Now, I'm curious from that perspective, did you ever go up to them, ask them, or ever get in a conversation with them like, oh, what brings you to an HBCU? Was it mainly athletics? Did they get a scholarship in a way or another and they took an opportunity? Or were they like, I want to learn more about like black culture. I want to be around this or more, maybe,
To be honest, nah. Like we had like just as a state school, just in general, you have these different scholarships and things like that. Like I've gotten every college experience. I went from HBCU to a private institution in New York City to get my master's at a PWI. You know, so I kind of got like each different level. So I got to see everything, right? But when I was at Delaware State, it was just like, oh, you here. It wasn't like, you know, no thing or anything like that. It was just like, okay, you here operating, you here shaking and moving and whatnot. I don't think it's like, I don't think just like the image of it in like what you see on movies and things like that. Like, yeah, there are white people. Are there a lot? Not that many, but there are people around, you know?
Yeah.
I see, and I not to like cut you off or nothing, but I think that is the difference between culturally, right? Like black folks ain't worried about what other people are really doing.
Yeah.
I feel like white folks, especially like PWI, they're like, you actually came here? Like, why are you, you just must be an athlete, or you, and it's like, no, I can't just be a student. Like, I can't just be going to school here. Like, I feel like, and that's, I think, culturally where the difference is, where at HBCUs, you're like, hey, what's up? You coming to the party? No? All right, cool. Like, and just keep it pushing. Like, I don't know. That's just, for me, that's how I feel sometimes.
I felt that. You usually aren't just like worried about we just mind our own business. We trying to exist and take up our space, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, when you in your own element, I should say, like at a HBCU, not only are you, and just college in general, you really learning about yourself. Like that's really where you're finding yourself at. You know, when you think about the age, your passions, things like that, you're really navigating, finding yourself, and also taking in a college experience, you know?
Yep.
So I felt like just at HBCU, you know, us being black, like that enhances that feeling. I went to college with some incredible, you know, even when I went to LIU in Brooklyn, like, you know, I've been just blessed and fortunate enough. Like my most memorable years were at Delaware State.
Yeah.
Straight up.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
No, because like I actually appreciate this conversation because there's like the polarizing where I was kind of like, yeah, like you went to an HBCU, like from like the different like cultural lenses, and I appreciate Costa just even stepping up and asking that because I don't know how many times I've been in as someone who didn't attend HBCU but like did a black culture to all of them, being like, oh, I can see this, but like the difference of like, oh yeah, you went there, or like, why am I here? Like that's I appreciate how dope this actually like formulated. And I really like when things don't go according to like how I plan things. I'm like, wow. I'm like, all right, I didn't see it in that, you know, obviously in that way. But also I kind of want to, you know, also pay homage to, you know, what you're doing currently too as well. And before, you know, we get to the more ratchet hour, because, you know, I've got some shit for you. I just really want to ask you, when it comes to, you have a run club here.
Yes.
And, you know, Deadstock, you run. Is it a Tuesday, Wednesday? You know, can I join? Are there, you know, single people there? You know, you know, what's going on?
All of that. I mean, you know, out there every Tuesday at 7. Shout out to Ian Williams, the owner of Deadstock Coffee and Concourse Coffee, an amazing person, friend of mine. I feel like getting my feet wet in Portland was through Deadstock.
Yeah.
Like that was my first place I went to when I got here. Like I just went to go what I thought, oh, sneaker themed coffee shop. Let me come in here and like steal some Wi-Fi for like a couple hours and do some work, right? You know.
I'm sorry. That's smart.
You know, you gotta like I ain't got nothing set up in the crib. Like I'm fresh off the flight. Like literally, I moved out here Halloween in 2018.
Wow.
For work? Because of work?
Because of work, yeah. I was managing the West region for an Italian brand called Diodora.
Diodora.
Yep.
Shout out Diodora. Beautiful stuff. Classic soccer stuff. Love Diodora.
That was the heyday.
Fucking know everything. I this guy over here.
Hey, that was a big time. Like everyone remembers, it's definitely for soccer, tennis.
Oh, soccer, tennis, hell yeah.
We had, you know, I was doing run specialty and had a bit of tennis, also some lifestyle stuff as well. But yeah, that's what like brought me out here. And yeah, I went to go to Deadstock next day to bang out some work. And what I thought I was going to be there for like an hour or so, hour or two, I ended up being there for like 5-6 hours. I walk in, and no lie, this is like the 3 wise men story. Like
Here we go.
And I'm not that religious, not like a religious person. But
Let's go.
I do appreciate history and things like that. So that's where my references come from. I walk in and I'm like looking at, like, Ian's a big fan of Val Iverson. Like, that's his favorite player. I mean, he had questions, AI stuff around the store. Like, you know, I'm like, who the hell is a Sixers fan in here? And he turns around, he's like, he tells me his mom's from Philly and whatnot. And then as I'm talking, you know, people can pick up on my accent as well. And there's two other people, my homie Terrence Watson was there, and he's from New York. So immediately he starts talking, and I'm like, oh snap, we got somebody from New York here. Then I hear the homie Isai talking, he's from DC. So I'm like hearing, like, you know, you just pick up on people's accents. Like, it's like being back home. East Coast was like, oh, you from somewhere. Yeah. You know? And yeah, Ian introduced me to every single person that walked through the door that day. Like, hey, Amir just moved here, meet this person. That was honestly one of the most memorable things. I still thank him to this day.
Wow.
Like, you know, it was just his birthday. I just was like, bro, thank you for just everything. Because you really, you know, me coming to a place I didn't know a single soul. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even have to do that. And then when you come from, like, other cities, especially, like, you know, bigger cities and whatnot, you're just, like, especially growing up, you're just wary of, like, genuine kindness. Yeah. Which is, like, fucked up when you think about it. Yep. Like, I feel like I'm a decent human being. You know, when I do things, I don't want anything in return. It's just, you know, it's just dope, like, the good thing to do, kind thing to do. You know, that's just what you do. That's how you were raised. And for me, it's like, damn, like, you think, like, damn, like, this person introduced me, like, in the back of your mind, like, is there something this person wants and things like that? And that's when you realize it's just like, damn, you have this, like, kind of, like, embedded trauma in a sense, like, where you're just, like, in the back of your mind, like, you don't want to get used, or, like, being, like, very, you know, very, I don't know, cut off from that, you know? You know, a lot of places it could be crabs in a bucket, you know. If you ain't like when Meek said, there's levels to this shit. Like, there really is. If you ain't somebody that's, like, doing something, like, you should see people like, oh man, you're at Nike's campus now. You're doing this. Oh, you just did this project for Under Armour. You like, it's like, yeah, you know, I'm still the same me. You feel me?
I feel you so much, because this is my gripe with just, like, not just Portland, or maybe it's just Portland.
I was just literally gonna say it's like a Portland thing.
It's kind of
ingenuity.
It's just that where it's kind of like
that phony.
It's like that phoniness, but it's kind of like, I genuinely, like, I was his, you know, I can say this now, I was like his graduate peer mentor when I was in mastery school,
he's my peer mentor.
And like, I watched this kid from like week 1 to week 7, and like each week where I'm like, oh, he's pretty interesting and cool, and then around like week 5, week 6, week 7, I was like, this kid's actually like really dope. And like, what I had my vision for, I was like, where I'm going, he definitely has to be there, but I know he doesn't know how dope he is. And like, because I got to see his assignments and things like that, and like, it was just like, I genuinely met him. Genuinely meeting AJ too as well, where it's kind of like, you just don't, like, people here, he getting me like, I do this. I just get so well off just his passion. But once someone says Nike, Under Armour, or I know Damian Lillard, people act like they're holier than thou. I was you are a bum. And it's just the attention, and it bothers me where I feel like the story that just, it's just like, I just don't hear that genuineness, because everyone just has a means to an end. It's like, if I need something from you, I'm not going to be like, hey, Amir, how's the grandma? I'm like, no, I need this. So I get a yes or that no, and that just bothers the shit out of me that it's just here. But go ahead.
What I was going to say with the whole Nike, Adidas, Damian Lillard thing is because to defend those people just a little bit, every day they're getting asked, hey, can I get a pass to the store? Hey, do you have a job for me here? Hey, can I meet Dame? Hey, because Portland's a small city.
Oh, yeah.
If you're working for Nike or Adidas, that's where you want to work if you live in Portland, if you grew up in Portland. So if you know someone there, you want to help, and if you work there, you're going to be asked to help people out a lot. So I'll defend them a little bit in that regard, but I totally understand, and that's why those people are very jaded in that way.
But like even I'll say this, like, because my mentors, like, I have some pretty big name, like dope mentors, right? That's done some incredible work. You know, shout out to Joe Branch, Dr. Mark Williams. I literally just did dinner. I was at like Morton Steakhouse. I'm not gonna say who it was with, but like there was you know somebody there of he's done incredible things, right? I'm sitting across from him, but like you realize like people are people. They're just like you know what I'm saying? They bleed the same blood. Like half the time we don't want to talk about work. Like this right here, me coming here and just like vibing with y'all is cool.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like so many times it's like you get attached to, oh, my name is Amir and this is what I do. We've had so many conversations, brother, and I ain't never asked what you do. You ain't never asked me what I do, which is the best thing ever. I want to know, hey, where you from? Who are you as a person? I can give a damn about what you do. Like that really, that's dope and all. Like that's great. You've done some amazing work. But who are you as a person? Because there's a lot of people that do great work too, but are also assholes.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That I really don't want to fuck with like that.
That's
you know
real.
what I mean? But
That's
like,
super real.
yeah, just to like kind of even like bring it back to Deadstock. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like, there's folks in there that just genuine niceness. And for you to experience that and to have that, it makes you want to come back. It makes you want to get involved and help out in ways that like, hey, is there anything I can do for the shop? You know, are there people that, you know, like how can you pay it? Like when somebody pays something like that to you, like you got to pay it forward. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a blessing because that's how I met my friends. And those three people were like, in my eyes, I mean, they're legends to me. They're people that you like need to like that you need to know. Yeah. And they really put me on a lot of game. And that's like, you know, that really was what spawned me being like around Deadstock and just like around the team. But in terms of like the Run Club, man, Ian had a Run Club. He was looking to like get situated a couple years ago. Then he actually tapped me to do, what was it? We were going to do Hood to Coast to the team. And we were like,
yo, bull.
Oh, nah, it was, hey, listen, he tapped me, he said, yo, man, you're running Hood to Coast. I walked through the shop, I said, I'm running what? I knew what Hood to Coast was, but hey, listen, everything, when I was a triple jumper, and everything on the East Coast is flat. Hills and stuff out here, that's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like,
What's in your coffee?
yeah. He said that real nonchalant. I'm at like, who with? And he like points around like to the back. I'm like, the baristas? I said, oh, we gotta start training, y'all. We all gotta start training. So we was literally like, this is 2020, like the beginning of 2020. We out in like Chinatown. It could be 8 at night, just like, yo, we gotta get miles in. You know what I'm saying? Get a couple miles. Bro, I'm leaving first Thursday after chugging a beer and like, yo, throwing out like, oh man, they're like, you still gonna run? I'm like, you damn right. I'm like, yo, we gotta run 10 miles up this hill.
Okay, Stone Cold.
These miles ain't gonna be the most premium or quality, but I'm at least make myself feel better and say I completed it today.
Okay.
You know? But the pandemic hit, shut down, and I ended up switching jobs. Like 2021, I ended up going from Deodora working for Thesis, and in one of my one-on-ones, I met Jen Smith, who. Shout out to Jen. She's like a little sister. Love her to death. And shout out to finishing and completing and killing, absolutely crushing Boston Marathon. She leads.
Congrats.
Yeah, that's big.
Congrats. Yeah.
She leads our long group. So we have these 3 different tiers. We want to make it as inclusive as possible. So we got a run, walk group, a intermediate group that goes about 2.5, 2.7 miles. We utilize the bridges to cross. And then Jen leads the long group. And, you know, she really helped just all of us. Like, I'm telling her about it. She's like, oh, I used to do like Nike Run Club things in Chicago and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, let's pull up and run. And she invited, you know, her friends. I had my core group from prior, and then we're who you see now. So myself, Ian, and Jen, like, just been like pushing this through.
How many miles does the long group usually run?
They cross Tillicum. That's about 4.5. So everything's a loop.
Yeah. Tillicum loop. I've done it. Yeah.
From the shop. So you like go. hit that steel bridge. The walk, jog group crosses Burnside. My group crosses Morrison or Hawthorne sometimes. And then Jen's group crosses Batilicum. Something for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Sounds dope. Sounds dope. I'm gonna have to join one of these mornings. I'm gonna have to join.
Oh, it's at night. That's the thing.
Hey,
That's
yeah,
what
it's
we're
even
doing.
better.
Hey,
It's
it's
even
7 p.m.
Okay.
You know? I try to make it accessible for folks. You know, people after they got work, they can chill, cook a little something. You got kids, suck the kids in, do what you need to do. You know.
Oh, do you have something?
I was curious if you're okay talking about it.
What's up?
What was your reason behind leaving Deodora for thesis? If you don't want it, that's totally fine. Yeah. If not, that's totally fine.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
Plead
that's
the
good.
fifth.
That's a good question. I mean,
Yeah.
great work with Deodora, but yeah, it was more so just I want to change a little bit.
totally.
You know, I was traveling a lot for work, which was one thing.
Yeah.
But being able to get like rooted in the community, like have a job, and also like experience like agency life. I was working with different agencies, like through the brand, you meet people. But yeah,
That's good. Yeah. Awesome.
He's our resident know everything. Like he's like grand chat wizard, that guy. Like you can't say the N word, but like he just knows like literally everything. Like every guest, he's like, oh yeah, I've done that. You know, I spent like 2 months. He just knows so much shit. I just don't like that you know this.
yeah, it's a really good question. I was just like, ooh, I was like, we might have to cut that one out. even my answer had to be, I'm like,
Someone's gonna do a little digging, do a little searching on this podcast.
Oh, and the team there, hey, shout out to the Deodora team. Like those are my
Big
homies I
shout
still
out.
rock with. Like I talk to them, we catch up all the time.
Oh yeah. Big shout out to Deodora. Really underrated. I love these niche sports brands that you see mainly in Europe, like the Filas, the Deodoras, the Kappas.
You got a pair of those?
Well, the Deodoras?
Yeah.
No, my dad does though.
Okay.
Yeah, but you asked my dad about Deodora, man. During communist Romania, that was number one. Deodora was number one during communist Romania.
You know what? You win today.
It was Deodora and Adidas.
That was a 4-point play. God damn it. I will go to big concepts. And I just want to say, just from a person who has met you, genuinely got the opportunity to like know you, and like like stupid shook when you're like, and I was like, and I formally was like, oh, I want to have you on my show. He's like, nigga, bro, like this is easy for me. Just like you just gotta say it. And like watching Deadstock, you just doing you. Like we know what's like build like a business. And I just want to say, keep doing what you're doing. And it's just like how it's transformed from like when Josh was like, oh, you should meet him, and we're seeing where everything was at, and then where is that like right now. I just hope that wherever you're wanting to be in your life, I hope all the things and the ventures are really paying dividends, because it looks like that, and it looks like you're genuinely happy, my man.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Like for real. I'm happy. Can get tired a lot of times, long days, because it's like, I close my laptop, then I open my other laptop. My personal, like it's a thing. I take a quick minute to walk the dog. Some days are longer than others, but like I really appreciate that. And then also the community here. Like I really want to shout out Portland, like especially people that are from here. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all are, as much as this term gets tossed around like gatekeepers and whatnot. You go to certain cities and stuff, you don't get like genuine love. And also as like a transplant myself, a lot of people, I don't want to speak for other transplants, and just in general, sometimes you hear, and I'm sure you hear, oh, what's in Portland? Or I'm going to come to Portland and take over Portland. Hey, don't come with that. Like, bro, don't come like when people when people say certain things, I just be looking at them like, yo, do you know how like the next like great designer or whoever they want to be is in Northeast right now chilling. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the people that are from here are so talented that a lot of times, like if you're not outside, like that's the thing. Like, yo, when you move somewhere, make sure you outside. Make sure you in the community. Make sure you're not just taking. Make sure you giving back. Like, because at the end of the day, all that stuff can be stripped away. Your hood pass or whatever pass you got can get taken. Easy.
That's real.
That is real.
Love that.
Hey, I'm still gonna hate on Trailblazers. I'm not gonna lie. You'll never win a championship.
Actually, here, what team do you support?
Oh, you already know.
Sixers?
The future 2022 world champion NBA 76ers.
Yeah, he's gonna get a
See,
stomach
okay, he
ache.
supports his hometown.
He's gonna get a stomach ache.
This guy hates his own hometown
But the
team.
Sixers are actually kind of good.
Y'all really trust James
They were-
Harden that
they were
lawn
bad
chair?
forever.
You know what you do with a lawn chair after a summer game? You fold it. He's gonna fold, and you know it.
You know, I'm a real fan. Like, I'm not one of them fake fans that
Thank
talk
you.
shit about their team.
What are you talking about? I'm a KD fan.
I could. Oh, you one of them. I'm a fan.
Here we
of
go.
players.
I don't know.
I'm a fan of
Here we
players.
go.
Exactly.
Here we
That's how people like folks like. Oh, I'm a.
That's
fan.
how you never lose,
That's
right?
how you never lose.
We lost tonight.
Shut up. And then tomorrow you're going to say, oh, Lonzo Ball's playing my Bulls.
We out the playoffs.
Yeah.
We.
Yeah,
He's been saying we a bunch, too.
I do say we.
So you say we a lot. Like,
I know.
with
A lot.
across like with the, because I'm sure you got favorite players that are on different teams.
I just have two now.
The Ball brothers.
Ball
both of them.
family. I support that family.
The
And-
family's just one now, right?
Yeah, of course.
But it's like two separate teams.
Okay, but
And then there's KD.
and that's
So
it.
there's three teams.
So
So
they're both. Two of them are bounced out. Oh,
And then when they would get traded,
I follow.
see, there's this.
that's the issue.
There's actually this. I actually saw this ad while I was watching the game where it's like you can get insurance on your jerseys for. It was like if a dude was crying and whatnot, like, you know, this person gets traded, they're going to. It was a great ad because that's really how it goes down. But now you can like trade in your jersey and doing something like that.
Huh? Oh, you think I'm? No, I like when my favorite player retires. Like when Rasheed retired, I retire. You know, I find someone new. So
Shout out to Sheed.
Exactly.
Hometown,
Shout out
huh?
to actually shout out to
Philly-
Big
Philly
Sheed. I
Sheed.
fucks with you, Sheed. Portland didn't treat you right. That's why I left them. Anywho,
No, that okay.
She Wallace.
and at this hour, with the 10 minutes that we have left with the show, let's talk about what we all came here for. The reason why people always say they don't like men with podcasts, because this is our therapy session, gentlemen. Because we talk about things. All right, everybody on three, take your red pill. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Red pill content. Ah, yeah. I despise. Not gonna say it because then it might be clipped in the future. Love women. Anywho.
Swing and a miss.
I just got so confused. So, wait, people that never mind.
let's go.
Just keep
Very
going.
good. Anywho, I want to ask you because you've had, you've been, been all over the world.
Oh no, you wildin'. You wildin'.
It's that hour.
What's to say? You've been in a lot of places. So, how does Portland's dating market compare? Yes, we're doing it. How does Portland's dating market compare to the other places you've been, like Philly,
Oh, Jersey.
York, Jersey.
LA?
And it was cool. Like even when you were in, I feel like when you were in track, you traveling a lot of times, so you used to seeing dating people like that are like maybe at different schools in different states and things like that. Like
All over the place.
yeah, all over the place. Yeah, it's, track and field is, from a social standpoint is a very interesting sport.
Oh,
and I'll
man.
just leave it at that. Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah.
But
Well, these Portland women.
I mean, I would say like from a dating standpoint. I mean, let's also talk about I be around, but I'll be minding my business.
Oh yeah, drinking your water.
Drinking my water, just chilling in the cut. But I would say what's interesting about Portland is like, so when I moved out here, I was in a relationship, so I was chilling. I was big chilling. I wasn't one of them like Portland, like I wouldn't say like someone that comes in and like a transplant coming in and like, yo, I'm gonna just play around real quick. Nah, I was not trying to play any of those games. I'm good. I don't need that type of stress in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way I prioritize. I prioritize like certain things, like stress. Like I'm good off that. I don't need that. I'm good where I'm at. But when I became single and started taking a look around, you have to be very, I hate to say like careful because it's small, right? It's small. A lot of people know the same folks. which is one thing. So, pick and choose your spots wisely. Just in general, like I feel like also since it is small, it can get kind of collegey because like I can even be out like I got a lot of like actual like women friends, like legit friends. That's it. Don't make that face.
Robert doesn't believe in female friends.
Hey, I've had a triple checkered pass, but but we'll just say on like my heart of hearts, I believe you can, but like on the surface level, look here, Lord forgive me, I was gonna quote some future line, but we're not gonna do that. But anyway,
my Lord.
But let's just say my perspectives have changed over the year. But I guess actually I should stop. Do y'all have any questions about this for you? It's not just directed at you, but I have one for you. But what is anything y'all want to bring to this conversation with the 7 minutes we have left?
I'm gonna agree with him. I've like rematched with girls on various like apps. I've rekindled stuff we've talked about before with girls. Look at me.
The apps are crazy. I've never been on a dating app until like maybe 20. What was it? I think it was the end of 2020. Yeah. So the homie was like, "Oh, you might as well give it a shot." And it's like different because like when you in a bigger city, you just outside meeting people like. Yeah. I'd rather pull up on somebody, like, if I can, and have that conversation. Man. Like, I love that. Like, you spot, like, ain't nothing like seeing somebody out that catches your eye.
Thank you.
And you slide on them.
Thank you.
Not that, like, oh, I follow you on IG, and I'm not going to say anything in person, but I'm going to slide in on your DMs on the back end. Mm-hmm. No, like, you step. And granted, hey, listen, you got a 50-50 shot with any person in this world. You want to know why? Because it's either going to be yes or no. They can say hell no. Mm-hmm. It's still the no is a no. But there's also a 50% chance of there being well. There's two options here.
Man.
Confidence.
And no ain't going to hurt you because you're going to be back in the same situation you was in the first place.
Hey, shoot your shot.
Yeah, very true. Oh, do you have anything?
Oh, no, I'm going to say I agree to that. For me, it's old school. Like, being able to actually sit down and have a conversation with somebody, pull up on somebody, actually be able to talk to them, get you to understand, like, you can have that conversation with somebody instead of type that conversation with somebody because that's not a real conversation. And then when it comes time to actually be able to take that person to a date, we can talk at that date. We could actually, like, be entertained by one another at that date instead of being entertained through messaging, which then it's like you don't even know if you can have a real conversation with this person. So I respect that. I'm the same way. I
also have to agree with that. Well, I respect it as well because I think we're just suffering from like perfect syndrome. Like everyone, like when they say they're looking for Mrs. Right, Mr. Right, or non-binary, like they're like like this person has to be perfect. Like I don't know how many times we're like everyone's like looking for like every check box to be checked, and I'm kind of like, that this person has to have a flaw, right? And like you're supposed to work and build that together. And I would just say in like the current like dating market and world, not just like in Portland, it's just like people have put so many like their expectation of a man or the expectation of a woman such on this high pedestal where like he's got to be 6'2", he's got to be athletic, he has to be all these different things, and I'm just kind of like, huh?
I was like, check.
And he loses to Robert in races. Yes, we get it. Oh yeah, we got a lot of
scribble.
And I guess for me, we're just kind of like, I guess as guys, we're like, I know I just kind of like described like the female expectations. I feel like this doesn't get heard enough because when we talk about expectations, I feel like sometimes it gets looked at as we're trying to be overbearing. But I feel like guys, look for a certain thing. And I just want to ask y'all, in this current day and age, what do y'all look for? Not the expectation of, what you want in a partner, but what do you like? What catches your attention in a woman that you want to fancy besides her looks?
I like someone that's motivated. I like someone that's well motivated, someone that's passionate about what they do. Like, nothing against, whatever they're doing or whatnot. I'm not going to judge them based off their income or anything like that. But, if they're just like, oh, I'm figuring myself out, don't really know what I'm doing, they're 26, that's fine. not necessarily my type. Whether you're in school or you're pursuing a career, it doesn't have to be a super high. Like I've met girls that are super dedicated to their job and like teaching elementary school, and I think that's awesome. And they plan out this week's curriculum, all this stuff, all that, and I think that's really cool. That's like what what I look for in women. Someone that's like passionate and like has goals for themselves in that way.
Tough. I like that. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I would just to piggyback off of that, like, that grind is super important. Yeah. Like, I feel like sometimes we get caught up in these relationships, and this is in general, somebody texting you 24/7 and things like that. And it's like, yo, I'm busy. Like, I got stuff I got to do. Like, it's very like, oh, like we talk when we talk, and we have like, when we do talk, it's a deep conversation. Like it's a conversation versus like these little minuscule things, you know what I mean? So definitely that grind is definitely, that motivation. Also, man, like I was raised around a lot of women. Like, I mean, my grandmothers, my mom, my dad, of course, was in my life too, but like I have really good relationships with all three of them. And also like my cousins, like most of my parents, friends, and family, everybody had daughters. Like, it's really like me and my brother, like we the only like dudes, so it's just like, oh, the boys. But like, in that you realize, just from a mental standpoint and learning, like, to be able to like learn from somebody. Like I want to be able to have this conversation, not to, and when I say learn, like, it's not someone, your partner's responsibility or anything like that. Yeah. But also provide a different perspective, and also you being able to accept that, hear it, and learn, and being able to expand ideas together. Ain't nothing like being in like a conversation, like I'll give the comparison of like work, and y'all just bouncing off ideas about like, even just as a group, like y'all are in a partnership, you know what I'm saying? Not a romantic one at least, but like as a keep going. But like imagine having them type of conversations, like literally where you just bouncing things off of each other, and it's just like flowing. Like that stuff to me is just like, yo, I love the way you think. Like just in like that to me is just like, wow, like you just expanding my mind. Because sometimes, I mean, guys, we can get a little tunnel vision, but really, like I always say this, like women get shit done. Like, like real talk, like, when it comes to work, like women get shit done. We do to an extent, but like, bro, I go to a lot of women for advice, like G shit, like, just to hear perspective and whatnot. Because sometimes I may be looking at it from my tunnel way, because you also. We got built-in egos and things like that. You know what I'm saying? That I can admit to. But at the same time, like, if you can kick back and just like really expand my mind and talk, like, carry that conversation. Also, I feel like that connection, you feel it. And I hate to use the term looking for someone, because like, not to be sappy, like, the right person gonna come around. I feel like when you start looking for shit, like you're gonna start compromising and really trying to get somebody to match like this mold, when they might not be that person for you. And then this person that just been around the entire time, just that you not even paying attention to, really that person. You sit there and have a conversation and be like, damn, you actually really dope. But you just been so fixated on like, oh, I'm looking for Mrs. Perfect or Mr. Perfect or whatever, non-binary or whatever that person is, when it's just like, yo, the right person gonna come to you, or, things are gonna progress. Everything happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer in that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So sorry for that long-winded answer.
Nah, we all do it.
Nah, I have to agree with that too, because I got I feel like I keep a lot more female friends around me than I do male friends, and a lot of it is like that perspective aspect, right? Like, ask them a question, like when I was in a relationship, like, did I say this right? Did I do this right? Was that the right way of doing this? If I'm thinking about doing this, how does that sound? And they'd be like, oh, that's a good idea. You should do this. Maybe she'll like this, and just being able to like really think outside of my own head, like you were saying, like really be outside the box. But for me, it's like someone motivating, right? Like if my partner can be motivating in her own actions, and then it motivates me to do more for me too. You know what I'm saying? So now we're motivating each other to do better for one another ultimately. And it's like this not like a sense of competition, but like it's almost a sense of like, how can we do better for one another? And I'm gonna push you to get your passion, which is gonna help push me to get my passion. So now we both finding our own passions, and it's motivating.
You mind if I chime in on that? Like, you said something that was like, this is like kind of like my concept of like what I think. Like, you know, folks, I feel like when people are like, oh, my responsibility, like I want to make somebody happy and things like that. Like, they ain't like, that's part of it. But like at the same time, people gotta be happy with themselves. Like, I tell like people, like, you gotta choose you. Like, if you don't love yourself and can choose yourself to the fullest extent on what you want to do or what you're committing yourself to, I can't expect you to look out for me in that way.
Hell no.
You know what I'm saying? So like with you saying that, like I heard, like, you know, pretty much what you gonna do, like, choose you. Hey, you got something that you motivating doing, like, you put me, we'll figure this out. We can balance this out. There's gonna be a healthy balance there. I understand where you coming from. You grinding, you doing what you needed to do. But I know that's where you're happiest at. And if we can bring both, like I'm grinding too, we bring our happiness together, that makes for a beautiful thing.
And like and in so many ways, guys, like we just had the Cam Newton conversation. Y'all know how Cam Newton was like, oh, you know that whole comment. Y'all remember what Cam said recently?
No, I don't know.
I heard it, but I can't remember it completely.
Long story short, it was like a clip of what he was saying. It wasn't like the whole thing. It was like women don't know how to be quiet. They need to cook, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
If you listen to the whole thing, Cam was just talking about his experience, and like he was talking about, like, you know how like Fresh and Fit was talking about like, his type of woman and things like that. He was talking about that. The like dope thing that I think people miss what Cam was saying, where I feel like they got latched on to like those bits is like, we all just talked about that. There are points when we are searching and looking for a partnership where you have to let your lady lead and you need to shut up and just listen. And how do I support her? Or like, she's been working like 4 days out of the week. I'm good. Maybe I can make dinner. And like, I feel like if you go into that conversation listening to Cam, like I'm trying to get triggered. Like I'm trying to like, boom, like you're not supposed to, women can't, like, no, like the only point where I felt like he did mess up is he fell for like the whole gendered, like
fucks these societal like roles and shit like that, bro. Like whatever works for, you know,
the relationship.
In your relationship is your relationship, and that's also your business.
And that's
nobody else's.
And that whole perfection thing that people are chasing, and that's why, and this is why I love Cost too. And you also bring this up too as well, where it's kind of like when we look at these relationships from like the celebrity standard, we're like, I want Sierra and Russ. I'm just kind of like, can we start with the community first? I'm pretty sure there's like a grandma and a grandpa that's doing it just as good as them. They just ain't got the bread. And you don't see that. And I just think that is something that is why this show is alive, because there's not a space for us men to really talk about like this being like, because we all want the same thing, peace. You brought up peace in your opening statement. You're like, I'm chilling. I just want peace. And I don't think that is stressed enough, where it's kind of like, I just know the dude sitting here is like, their next level up in life is family, a chick, and peace. Oh, forgot, and bread. So it's just kind of like, I guess for me, my ending point on this one is just like to ask like the viewers, like literally, and it's like, how can you continually be balanced? Where like we just heard different perspectives, where like that balance is key for you to like just grow as a person for yourself, so you can be ready for that relationship. So, that took a turn. Anyone have any questions, comments? Or that's therapy talk. Any other things?
I think especially like for the viewers, I think the most important piece, like if you're taking out of this last portion, is just like understanding like perspective in yourself and what you want. And Amir said it best, like if you can't love yourself, how can you really love somebody else, right? Like, and that perspective in who you are is going to give you the perspective in the person that's going to fit you. And understanding your own perspective is, I think, humbling sometimes. And you got to humble yourself. And I think we do well on like just talking about humility on here. And I think it's a good a good way to for you as an individual to keep moving forward. So
that's beautiful. Like even
Fair.
just in that, like, humility is huge. And also, like, people make mistakes, people drag things out longer than what they should, or even like, you can be in relationships, there's also timing factors. You know what I'm saying? People are busy doing different things at different phases in their life, where it's like, this person, it's not necessarily like they're the wrong person or somebody did something wrong. That timing is just like not there, and, that's also a thing. Like, I feel like sometimes people like, oh man, this didn't work, blame themselves. And that's where like all the little toxic behavior comes in, when it's just like, this just ain't the right timing because I got X, Y, and Z going on.
Yeah.
You got X, Y, and Z going on. And this is fine. We can come to peace at that. We can be cool, whatever, or however you want to pursue it. So yeah, like you had mentioned, just being like having that one humility and being honest with yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. I actually really like that. I second that. Like, people need to like take it easy, be a little more relaxed, be more forgiving with people, don't respond to you right away, or if, have to reschedule stuff. Too many people are just like, all right, on to the next.
Give grace, but don't play with people's time.
Fair.
That is the tightrope that we walk, literally. I will say this, when I very first met you, you were talking to 7 women all together, and I was like, how would I ever? Oh man, how would
when you start lying?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? He was like, he's like, very first time I met him, he's like, where that bitches at?
Yo,
I was like, whoa.
Bus right now.
I was like, whoa. I was like, where you doing this at? He's like, I'm at Fortune. Where that bitch? I'm messing with y'all. See, he's at the back of the episode. This is the back of the episode.
This is crazy. Yo.
Nah, if y'all really...
We just had this wholesome ass talk. Which, I'm sorry to use that term, it's overused, but damn.
I just want to say, as we, what do you call it? Go forward. Once again, another priceless guest, because of literally all the things that you embody, not just from what you work and what you do, just the person that you are. And like, I always tell people, like, this is why we exist. This is why we have this platform, to give people like you an opportunity just to shoot your shit and just say what I already know, what they just witness, and what the guests, not the guests, but the viewers. But I want to say thank you. It's been a pleasure having you on.
Let the people know how they can get a hold of you, find you on Instagram and all that.
Oh man, so first and foremost, thank you, for creating this space. Really, really dope everything that you're doing, just as a team, as a collective, and really putting out dope shit. This is something that y'all should be proud of, and I'm honored to be a guest like G shit. So yeah, and if you want to find me, Amir, but underscore AM.1, the number 1 R _, and then also follow Deadstock Run Club as well. They have a pretty dope person that runs that account. So
Thank you for coming. Shout out to G-Shock. God tier watch. Not enough people love on the G-Shock. But yeah, thank you for coming. Appreciate it, man.
it's from 09.
Yeah, they should last that long. Yeah.
I just want to say, this has been the Play No Games podcast /show.
Peace.
I'll see you in the streets, Robert.
We'll keep that.
Probably wondering if I think of you. Sorry, I'm for the bag right now. Yeah, I'm for the bag right now. Yeah, for the bag that I never had. Yeah, you probably mad right now. Yeah, I got a 2-piece now. But shit, I think they call them groupies now.